Hey, Angie here for mynexttablet.com. I'm at the press conference from Huawei right now, where they just introduced a couple of new tablets called the Huawei MediaPad M5 series. And this one is the MediaPad M5 Pro, which is the highest end Android tablet Huawei introduced at this press event in Barcelona. And in this video, we want to take a closer look at it. First of all, it's a 10.8-inch tablet that is almost identical to the Huawei MediaPad M5 10.8, but the Pro version has a bit more storage options, but also a pen that's called Huawei M Pen, and that's an active stylus, an active pen that supports 4096 pressure points, just like the Samsung Galaxy Tab S3, the S Pen for this tablet, or the Surface Pen from Microsoft, or the Lenovo Active Pen 2. So it's a fairly recent, modern stylus, and that's certainly nice that you can get this with the Huawei MediaPad M5 Pro. Huawei has released one tablet with an active pen before called Huawei MediaPad M2, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago almost. Yeah, now finally they are back with an active pen and a high-end tablet. Let's take a quick look at the tablet first. It's 10.8 inches and it's a really premium design with a full metal body. It's quite thin, quite light, and it feels really nice in your hands. It has nice rounded edges. We've got two soundbars here, and underneath those two soundbars are two speakers each. So in fact, we've got 4 speakers in total here with the MediaPad M5, and it's a MediaPad, and Huawei wants to give us a nice entertainment tablet. So 4 speakers in total, which is certainly nice. We've got a connector for a keyboard here that we can take a look at a bit later. A 13 megapixel camera on the back, and then we've got a volume rocker, power button, a micro SD and SIM card slot, a USB Type-C port, and let's take a look at the front. We've got an 8 megapixel camera on the front there, a fingerprint reader that is integrated as well, and a 10.8-inch screen. It has a really high resolution of 2560 by 1600, so it's a really high resolution screen, which is certainly really nice to see that we've got a high resolution screen here. And inside runs a Kirin 960 octa-core chipset, which is the same from the Huawei P10. That's a smartphone that was introduced last year, so it's not the newest chipset, but Huawei kind of goes the route of Samsung and Apple, and all those 3 manufacturers choose one generation behind, the chips from one generation behind for some reason for their tablets. They never are as fast as recent smartphones, which is kind of sad, but again, that's one of the reasons why the Huawei MediaPad M5 Pro here will be one of the fastest Android tablets out there. We're also getting 4 GB of RAM and a 64 GB or 128 GB internal storage. Alright, on here runs Android 8.0 Oreo, so it's also one of the first tablets that will be shipping with Android 8.0 Oreo. And on top of it is the Emotion UI, that's the own interface from Huawei, and that one has almost not changed at all compared to previous years. It's heavily customized, there's tons of options in the settings. Out of the box there's no app drawer, so all apps are installed onto the home screen directly, but you can get the app drawer back in the settings. And there's really a lot of stuff, and maybe a bit too much. The same goes for the apps. There are tons of apps pre-installed. Some of them you can deinstall, but a lot of them you cannot. They will be kept on this device. You can have themes. You can really customize it quite a bit, but again, it's kind of overloaded as well. It's not too bad. I always gotten used to it, but just something to note. It's certainly not vanilla Android, far from vanilla Android. What we want to take a closer look at in this video is the pen, but before that, obviously there's a keyboard as well, just like the normal MediaPad M5. The keyboard has a chiclet style keys, and it's certainly fine for writing a bit with it, getting some work done. There's no magnetic bar here, so you cannot angle up the keyboard a bit like with Windows tablets. So you have to get used to typing kind of flat on the table, but it's fine. There's a touchpad as well, and all of that gets kind of useful if you enter the desktop mode, and that's something that is new with the software of the MediaPad M5. And it kind of looks like Windows XP, doesn't it, because of this wallpaper in the back, but it is still Android with all the Android apps that you have installed. There's kind of a start menu, a taskbar on the bottom here, and the notification center kind of looks like Windows 8 with all the settings here in a similar place. which is certainly interesting. You can open apps here with the start menu, for example, and yeah, you can have two apps and layers like here, similar to Windows, to a desktop operating system, but underneath it's still Android. But this interface might be useful if you really want to get some work done with the keyboard and with the touchpad here. We've seen something similar from Lenovo for the Tab 4 series, and yeah, then we've got a desktop mode here as well for the MediaPad M5. Alright, but the real interesting part of this tablet is the stylus, because that is the main differentiator to the standard MediaPad M5. This is the MediaPad M5 Pro with the M Pen, an active pen that supports 4096 pressure points, just like the S Pen from Samsung or the Surface Pen from Microsoft or the Lenovo Active Pen as well. And that means that you can make really precise drawings or write really precisely, and it also means that you can have shadings here if you angle it a bit, or if you press down very lightly you get a very thin pen. If you press really hard you get a thicker pen. That's certainly nice. We've seen that from other manufacturers, but Huawei did it, yes, really good. It's not the first try. We've had one with the stylus before, as I said, but it seems to be a really nice pen. It's charged over USB Type-C, so there's a battery inside, and we've got two buttons here, pretty much similar to an S Pen or to the Surface Pen. And yeah, again, it seems to be quite a nice pen. There's not that much software pre-installed for the pen though. There's some shortcut that I always have to find out how do I make it. They have some kind of quick launcher, there we go, where you can open apps that are pre-installed for the pen. For example, there's a math app, and with this you can do calculations. You can write it down and then it does the math for you. Let us delete all of this. I don't want those. Alright, I think we have to delete everything. Make 3 plus 2 equals to 5. Good to know. That's obviously for more complicated math as well. Yeah, you can do some math with this app. What's also interesting is another app that's pre-installed called Nebo for Huawei, and that's a note-taking app with all the features of several notebooks and so on. Just a standard note-taking app, but with built-in handwriting recognition. And I was writing with this a bit. This is a test, and the handwriting recognition does not seem to be as precise as in Windows 10. Windows 10 always recognizes my handwriting really surprisingly well. This one isn't bad either, but it does not seem as precise as the handwriting recognition that's built into Windows 10. But certainly nice to have this. Well, what else? There's not that much else software pre-installed for the pen. Obviously, you can make a screenshot and then do some editing, but that works without the pen as well. And the pressure sensitivity actually does not work in the screenshot view. Yeah, it really doesn't work, so that is just copied from standard Emotion UI, nothing special there. So we've got some apps for the pen pre-installed, but not that much, so mostly you probably will be using third-party apps that you will find in the Play Store and so on. Alright, but my first impressions of the Huawei MediaPad M5 Pro are quite good. We've got recent hardware inside, very nice hardware, a nice design, nice high-quality screen, a pretty nice pen, an optional keyboard cover, and that all costs 549 euros, which is not cheap, but is kind of in the region of a Samsung Galaxy Tab S3 right now, and an iPad Pro is a bit more expensive. Alright, what do you think of the MediaPad M5 Pro? Write me down below in the comments. I will certainly review it once it is available. I'm NJ for mynexttablet.com. Thanks for watching.